Hello and welcome to Sail Away with Kim and Tyler. This is our very first episode, so what better place to start than at the beginning? Kim, tell us how you got started on cruise ships.
Wow, it seems so long ago, but I started on cruise ships. It's actually my family member that used to work on cruise ships, and my mum just mentioned, "Oh, you should work on cruise ships," and that's how it came out, really.
So, when was this? How long ago did you
Oh
start?
wow. Well, I got the date because I've written it on the sand. I can't remember. I think it was like Half Moon Cay or something. Oh, okay. But it was July 7th,
Of what year?
2017.
So, you started July 2017. What was your experience like when you got on your first ship?
Oh, wow. My experience, like when I arrived, firstly, I haven't been to America whatsoever. It didn't really appeal to me as much as the other places that I wanted to see. But when I arrived in America, my actually main port was coming out of San Juan in Puerto Rico, and the ship was huge. Yeah, it was huge.
Mm-hmm.
It was very overwhelming. A lot happened within a short space of time. We stayed in they accommodate you in a hotel. I'm guessing they did that for you as well.
Yeah, you mean like the night before you get on
Yeah.
the ship?
Well, you did your rehearsal, so you kind of gradually settled in, though, didn't you?
Yeah, it's a little bit different for a musician. So, I was playing in the rock band on the cruise ships, and so we would rehearse for a couple weeks on land before we got on the ship. So they would fly us to the rehearsal studios, which is in Fort Lauderdale. And I was there for varying lengths of time, depending on which contract it is and what shows we were doing, but usually a minimum of like 3 weeks. Um, and then we would fly from Fort Lauderdale to wherever we were going, unless it was in Florida.
Yeah.
So, like for example, the first ship that we did, and that's how we met, was out of Port Canaveral. So we didn't fly there from Fort Lauderdale.
Wasn't it Tampa? Like, where did you practice? Oh, practice.
We were
Rehearsal.
rehearsing in it's actually called Davie,
Yeah.
Florida. It's next to Fort Lauderdale.
Oh, okay.
So I remember being roughly about 3 hours to Port Canaveral. I
Yeah, well, that's
think.
not bad at all.
No, it wasn't. So obviously you're not going to fly there. There were other contracts afterwards that were out of different ports, and they would fly us from Miami Airport to the closest international airport of where the port was. And so we would spend the night in a hotel there before, yeah.
How would you? What was? How did you go about on like working on cruise ships? What made you start? Like, tell me your story.
I had been playing in the bands at Dorney Park in the summers for 4 years before I started on Carnival. This was also the summer of 2017. That was my last year at Dorney. And then one of the trumpet players in that band had done a cruise ship contract before. He was with Royal Caribbean. So I kind of just talked to him about it for a little bit that summer, and it just sounded like something I'd like to do. So I just did as many auditions as I could. I ended up doing 5 auditions before I got the
Wow.
Carnival contract.
How was that experience? Like auditioning, like them?
Everyone was different, and the Carnival one especially was different. Um, most of them were, I think that most of them were over like Skype. This was before Zoom was really the main like a video conferencing
Yeah.
app. I distinctly remember doing one over Skype and the guy who was doing my audition was in Argentina.
Oh wow.
Yeah, that was an interesting one. Didn't do well on it. He didn't give me an offer.
What was that one? The
Uh, Most of them that I did were actually for agencies,
okay,
like
so
talent agencies that would place you with, um, you know, a cruise line that they would have an opening with. So the one for Carnival was pretty different because that one was using this like web-based software, and it was they sent you the music in advance so that you could prepare the stuff, and then they didn't exactly do sight reading. They did stuff for, I want to say it was sending me like an hour beforehand or something, or maybe 24 hours. I don't remember because it was a while ago at this point, like almost 7 years ago. Um, but it was really my kind of stuff. Like the other ones were more like jazz based, which I can play jazz, you know, to
Mm.
a certain level, but it's not really like my strength in terms of styles. I like playing more like, I mean, you know this, like cover band stuff, like
Yeah.
Chicago and Tower Power, Earth, Wind and Fire, that kind of stuff. And that's what the carnival gig was. So I fit the mold very well on that. Like one of the audition songs was Sir Duke by Stevie Wonder, and any brass player who's been playing for more than a couple of years has played that song and they just know it by heart because it's such a popular song.
Yeah.
So obviously that was fine. And then with this software, you would do like they let you do like 2 takes of each excerpt, which is like a smaller portion. They don't want you to hear you play the whole song. It's a smaller excerpt of the whole thing. And then after those 2 takes, you can't go back and redo it because it's like, well, anyone can get it perfect with enough time. It's like they want to hear how you're really
Was it,
playing as
did you
yourself.
go through stages in there,
No,
or no? You kind of you
it
just
was just the
auditioned.
one, and then I think I probably got the offer within a couple weeks afterwards.
Yeah.
So that one was obviously a successful audition. That one was through an agency. Um,
Yeah, I remember my audition. Well, basically, mine was just like a phone call, and they kind of talk, and you talk, and they
so what
kind of.
did you do on the ships? I don't think you told
Uh,
them yet. Actually,
you didn't even tell them what instrument you play either.
you're right. I didn't. I played the trombone, so I was
Yeah,
playing in the rock band on the
it's the
ships.
T-bone.
Yes.
I just work with the kids. I know it sounds like oh, I work with the kids, but you know, it has some perks and it has some downsides. But like, my audition, it was on the phone. We just talked, and they kind of just wanted to get to know me, what I was looking for. Once that went through, the second bit was like you had to go in and like do like a face to face in person. And that was in like somewhere in Manchester, and there was quite a lot of people there, and they give you like challenges and stuff, and give you some riddles, and yeah, let's say I kind of stood out from everyone. You know, I always say things without thinking, and it turns out to be really funny, and I don't even mean for it to be funny.
So they just liked your personality.
Yeah, they kind of like my personality. Used to the role that I was doing, it was like camp animator or something, so I had to like dress up in so on the carnival it's famous for its Dr. Seuss characters, so I dressed up as like the Dr. Seuss. So I have some background in doing parties and dressing up as like Funky Monkey, like all the princesses. I remember one kid came up to me, why you tanned? Elsa's not tan, she's white. And I was like, well, I've been on holiday, all right. I've been on holiday. So yeah, that was interesting, and yeah, they kind of offered me, and I kind of just like, oh wow, got overwhelmed, and
So you had basically equivalent previous experience from jobs on land before you got on ships, basically.
yeah, I was the missing piece in the jigsaw puzzle basically, and yeah, and then like the first ship, like I said, it was Fascination, so my itinerary was like amazing. It was like 7 days, 6 ports. I think we had one sea day, or maybe we didn't have a sea day. I can't remember, but we went to like so San Juan. We were there from 8 o'clock in the morning until 8:30 at night. So we had the whole entire day.
Yeah, that's crazy. I never once had that on any ship I was
Yeah.
on. A 12-hour home port
I feel bad though because
is amazing.
I didn't take full advantage of the time, because my crap like shifts were like rubbish sometimes, and like
Yeah.
you get like poor manning, which we'll tell you in further episodes
Yeah,
down
that's
the
a
line,
future episode.
and like just gas, don't fucking ask, and like just debot. Oh, debot wasn't too bad because you get them off the ship, but it can be a bit chaotic, but that's again for another episode. But I don't know, like we went to Puerto Rico, we went to St. Thomas, St. Martin,
So
Barbados.
lots of Virgin Islands.
Yeah, lots of, and the Caribbean, which was like beautiful. St. Lucia. Yeah, like some really nice. And then, I don't know, everyone heard Hurricane Maria hit. Itinerary completely went out the window. My mum was ringing me saying, "Oh, are you okay? I heard there's a hurricane." And I'm like sending a video saying, "Look, it's perfectly beautiful out here." So the ships are not stupid. They're not going to actually go through the hurricane. They're going to find another route, or go like try and prevent going in that area. So the main areas were Barbados, St. Kitts got like wiped out, and St. Croix, and like a few places in the Caribbean, and Puerto Rico. Or Puerto Rico was the main one, got hit. And like, I don't know, it was like 7.5 years ago, where it kind of like wiped their electricity. We couldn't even dock. So we had all these like families, pretty much the whole families were all like from Puerto Rico, so they didn't even know what they were going back to. So like that kind of changed things up, and that's how our love story happened. How I magically appeared on Magic. I got transferred. I had a week and a bit in 2 weeks in Orlando, because they didn't have my cabin ready. So I was like, "Oh, no worries." So they were paying for my 2 weeks in Orlando, and I was just loving life. And my first time in America, really, properly on land. Yeah, whilst you were auditioning, I was like there with my margarita, like, you know, as I do. I had a bit too many apple juices, as we say on Camp Ocean. We can't say alcohol, so we say, "Oh, I've had lots of apple juices." But my experience and your experience on the ship when you arrived on Magic after all the auditions and getting all prepped and ready, what was your experience when you saw it? Like,
When
got
I
on?
first saw the ship,
Yeah.
yeah, like you said, I just thought it was huge. I had never been on a ship before. Like, it's not something that we ever did when I was growing up.
Yeah,
So I never thought that I would ever go on a ship, to be honest, until I started working on one.
I know, but like America's like so huge on its sailing. I'm like surprised that you haven't actually
Yeah, it
been.
is really popular, and lots of people do it, but I never did.
Yeah.
So it was a new experience for me. Not only being on the ship, but also doing that gig.
Yeah.
Like,
I remember like seeing, so the ship that I went on, they have different classes of ships. I actually went on pretty much all of them, but I think since COVID, everything's changed. But I've been on pretty much all the classes. I think there was like 7 classes of ships. I only needed to do one, and that was Vista class, which unfortunately we weren't able to do. But the ship that I was on first was so small compared to Magic, because Magic, when you first sign on, you do a vessel familiarization, and that's how we kind of glanced eyes on each other, and like, yeah, you do all the boring stuff, and you're like half like jet lagged and like so sleepy, and yeah, it's crazy, and I kind of missed the safety briefing. I didn't know where to go, and I thought, if I'm in the guest areas and they're going to tell me where's muster station E, like, I'm going to look like blank, and it looks really bad on the company. So I just kind of hid it in my room.
I'm surprised you didn't get in trouble for that, because there was one time later on when we were on the Dream, where I was at the safety briefing, because you have to be, it's a requirement, and basically you have to be checked in on this like tablet kind of thing, and I think that it just didn't register my like ID scan, and so I got called into the staff captain's office with the band leader, who was my boss, and I forget who else was there, but he was making like a big deal about it. He was like, "Where were you?" I was like, "I was at the safety briefing." "What do you mean?" And he's like, "Well, not on the system." And I'm like, "That's the computer system, man. I was there." Like,
It's crazy because,
yeah,
like,
they take it
yeah,
very
really
super seriously. Like, so I'm surprised you were able to get away with it and not get written up or something.
No, well, I didn't get written up or anything, and maybe they did speak to the youth director later on, but Like, that's the youth director's like management, but I didn't really, I got picked up later, and I just said I'm sorry, and they said, like, your first contract, you're overwhelmed and stuff. We're sorry that we didn't pick you off. So they're partially to blame. They should have like got me prepped and ready, but I suppose like I just didn't want to. I didn't want to be in that situation. But actually, however, we actually going back on the ship that we first met.
Mm-hmm.
So you'll have some sneak peeks on like areas that crew areas. Fingers crossed anyway, if we know a few people that we work with, and just how we met and like different areas of the ship. Maybe do some recording of us at our like muster station. But it's crazy. It was like just over 7 years ago, 7.5 years that we were on cruise ship.
Not quite. It's like 6.5. It'll be 7 in October.
Oh, fair enough, because we both have 2 different dates. Because I signed on in July 2017, and then in October, because I remember going, I remember in 2 weeks, and I kind of knew one of the girls from Fascination, one of them, and basically I kind of went out with her a couple of times, and explored Orlando. As you do as a UK tourist, and tried all the foods, Taco Bell and all these foods.
So you said you had never been to America before that. That was like your first time trying Taco Bell?
Yeah. And I tried some other chicken popcorn or pop.
You mean Popeyes?
Oh, Popeyes. I tried that. It's okay. It's not me fave. Not my fave. Wendy's is like kind of up there. Cheap and cheerful. Chick-fil-A. Oh my gosh, Chick-fil-A is like top notch.
I remember we went to the Chick-fil-A in the mall a couple times in Canaveral.
Yeah, we did actually. That was our first. Well, it wasn't our date, but that was like first going out together, because I think I saw you and you saw me, and I think we were just walking around. I swear we went out.
I think that was pretty early on.
Yeah, I think it was. But obviously, ship life is like forever life. It feels like longer.
Yeah, that's very true. One of the guitar soloists, the acoustic soloists on that ship, actually told me that he always thought that like, and he was talking about like relationships, like dating, but he said he feels like a week on ships feels like a month on land, just because you're so contained in that environment and you have nowhere else to go, and you just see each other all the time.
And literally can't have any arguments, because you literally just, there's nowhere to go.
You just can't escape each other, for better or worse.
It's like, you just have to get on.
Yeah.
Grim
but
and
it was great
bear
because we got to know each other really quick, and
I caught feelings very quickly, and obviously girls do, but he didn't realise what he was missing until I was gone. He loved me so much.
Yeah, well, tell him about that.
Because he paid for my...
How you had to leave before I did.
Oh, yeah.
And how that works.
Well, so obviously I signed on like in July, so our contracts didn't quite match. So basically my sign-off date got cut off a bit shorter, so I was supposed to leave in February and ended up leaving in like January. So then our contracts didn't quite tie, and then we were talking about like being on the same ship together, but at that time we're so early on that it seemed a bit of a big commitment, because it's like linked. You have to be linked to be together, and that's kind of being like, you're kind of like married, and you're like, oh, do I want to take that commitment? But literally we've got 46 seconds right now, and I feel like I can't tell you all this right now. So I think it's for you guys to stay tuned and to watch and listen to our
you'll have to come back and watch and listen to episode 2 to see where the conversation picks up from. So thank you very much for watching and listening to episode 1 of Sail Away with Kim and Tyler. Make sure to like and subscribe if you've not already done so you can get notifications when each episode drops. And we'll see you in the next one. Bye.